Could I also now invite Kun Ponporn Wikitset on stage to deliver his special keynote? Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you to the UN Resident Coordinator for your wonderful speech and your great work with the Thailand government, as well as our great collaboration with the Bangkok government. I'm delighted to be here on behalf of the Governor of Bangkok, Dr. Chachat Stipan. So just for my speech, I would just wanted to highlight a little bit on the situation on the climate change in Bangkok and the need for an important issue that we're talking about today, which is sustainable finance. So if you look at the list of the most vulnerable cities in the world, top 10, you'll always see Bangkok. And this is real. And I think now more and more people are starting to realize they do not see climate change as something far away anymore, but something that affects their life. So first, how does it affect us? Flooding. Of course, there is flash floods, always heavy rain. Think last October is the heaviest rainfall in October in decades, 30 years or so. And 2 years ago, when we first got into our position, it was the September that had the most rain in 30 years or so. So it's rain bombing on us at the moment. So flash floods is coming more frequent and heavier. Second is we also get affected from the north of the Chao Phraya, the water running down to Bangkok. So the rainfall could be elsewhere on the tributaries of the Chao Phraya River, but it all comes down to Bangkok because we're right at the delta before it reaches the Gulf of Thailand. So we're getting the effect on that. And lastly, we're actually facing a lot from sea level rise. People like to think sea level rise might not affect today the city that much, but actually the sea level rise very connected to the rise of the Chao Phraya River. So once the Chao Phraya River rises more and more, and also we get more water from the north due to heavier rainfall in the suburbs or elsewhere, it collides and meets in Bangkok. We're a city that's actually under the level of Chao Phraya River. We're protected by the Chao Phraya dikes on two sides. So we have a 3-meter high dikes. And if the water level rises in the future, if the dikes, we do not protect it well or it overflows, then the city could be in danger. So we could have a major flooding without any rainfall at all, because this is because of the situation with the Chao Phraya River, which is the heart of the Bangkok, but we have to live and adapt to it. Secondly, is the coastal erosion. People don't know that Bangkok is actually a coastal city. So we have 50 districts, and one district is by the sea. And if you go to that district called Bang Khun Tien, one of the popular attraction is people get the boat out to the middle of the sea, and then you'll see the ancient pillar, city pillar, number 28 and 29. That used to be on land, but now people have to take the boat out just to see it, just to show the extent of the erosion that has happened in the city. So this is another important, and a lot of farmers, shrimp farmers, fisheries, they're losing their land because of this erosion. So this must be protected as well. Thirdly, urban heat. I think there is evidence that it's getting hotter each year. And not just the temperature, but the humidity, the heat index, that is the major cause for heat strokes and other fatalities is increasing. And this is also very difficult because people in Bangkok don't realize it's a problem. We're already a hot city, so let's just get on with life. It's not really that dangerous, but it actually is. And cases are rising each year. And it's not the vulnerable people who are affected. It's actually the healthy people who have to be outside for work. Construction builders comprising a lot of immigrants, and also people in the agricultural sector in the suburbs of town. They're heavily affected by the urban heat. And lastly, PM 2.5. How does it relate? Because surrounding Bangkok, there are many rice farms. And what's the cheapest way to get rid of the rice husk after harvesting? Quickly burn. And when it's dry, more burning happens. And once they burn, the wind direction leads all to Bangkok, where without tall buildings, the pollution stays, and with the inversion, so leading to PM 2.5 problems as well. So all of this is, relating all to climate change, and it's heavily affecting us. We need a lot of investment in Bangkok, but up until today, we what we call balanced budgeting. So however money we get from tax revenues, etc., we only pay that amount. So we have 90 billion in budget. We can only afford to invest 90 billion or even less, right? So we still need more innovation ways to fund important projects. Mitigation is quite easy because there might be a public-private partnership. For example, our waste to energy plant or wastewater treatment. Now we go the way of a public-private partnership. But adaptation projects, like building seawalls to protect our Bangkok district, we have to use our own budget, which is very difficult and it costs a lot. So in the future, we have to look at municipal bond. We haven't done it before, but it's something that we have to do, and maybe look at other innovative solutions like the ESCO model to support solar installation, energy efficiency in buildings, because a lot of the energy use is causing carbon emissions within Bangkok, and a lot to do with the private sector. Carbon market, we're also very interested in. There are many projects we work with the private sector to plant trees and making urban forests, and working together to do a carbon market deal. In Bangkok, we also have Article 6 program that led to half of our buses going EV, with the working with the Swiss government, which is one of the highlights policy that has led to decrease in carbon emissions, but also PM 2.5. Yeah. But of course, we have to focus on adaptation. How do we protect consequences that have happened from the climate change? I think today we are happy with the direction of the national government, where there are many key legislatives that are soon to be out. For example, the Climate Change Act, which will enable emissions trading schemes and adding what they call a polluter pay principle into the how we govern. So the polluters pay more and act in terms of pollution reduction. And soon there will be a Clean Air Act as well, maybe giving Bangkok or local authorities more power to deal with local polluters. And lastly, for the waste side, there will be extended producer responsibility. So those producing bottles, glass, anything that could lead to waste, having to have responsibility for their own emissions as well. For Bangkok too, we try to be progressive in our policy. For example, we recently just announced that we will have a new waste collection fee, where we will increase waste collection for ordinary citizens 3 times. Sounds like quite a lot, but only from 20 baht per month to 60 baht. But if you separate your waste, we will allow you to reduce back to 20 baht. So giving economic incentive. If you don't want to separate, that's fine, you pay more. But if you do, you're the one supporting the city, you can pay less. So no more just voluntary work, but adding economic measure. And also we just announced a low emission zones. So when there's high PM 2.5 days, we can announce that with the governor's decree to prevent any of the trucks or 6-wheelers up from entering the CBD of the city. So yes, I think final to conclude, I think most important, we try to be proactive. The national government try to be proactive, but we cannot do it alone. We need the support of private sector with their investments and helping to facilitate. And also we need the support of academia, civil society, which is very strong in Thailand and Bangkok. And lastly, for general public. So if we can all work together, then Bangkok will be a livable city, and we can protect ourselves from the repercussions from climate change. So thank you very much.